Ezekwe International Airport, Abuja, and concealed the remaining 43.16 million naira. A petition by the owners of the money prompted escalation of the matter and the revelation. Now let's hear from the force spokesperson, Olumuyiwa Adejobi.
The Nigeria Police Force has noted with concern the recent allegations circulating in the media, suggesting that the Inspector General of Police, IGP Olukayode Adeolu-Egbetokun, PAD, NPM, is shielding a cartel accused of smuggling suspicious new banknotes from the Central Bank of Nigeria. The Nigeria Police Force categorically refutes these claims, condemning them as baseless and orchestrated attempts to tarnish the IGP's reputation and integrity of the force. The incident in question, which occurred at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport on August 26, 2023, has been thoroughly investigated. The officers involved, DSP Peter Ejike, a lawyer in charge of Zone 7 Legal Section, Inspector Ekende Edwin, Inspector Esther Okafu, and Sergeant Talabi Kayode, all attached to the Zone 7 headquarters, Abuja, were found culpable and sanctioned appropriately. These officers, led by Inspector Esther Okafor, on the instruction of DSP Peter Ejike, unlawfully arrested Andrew Eja, an employee of Fat Cargo Nigeria Limited, who was conveying the cash sum of 74,950,000 naira only on behalf of clients. These officers have been suspended, being found culpable of serious misconduct, tampering with exhibits, abuse of office, corrupt practice, illegal duty, and acts unbecoming of a police officer. The movement of such an amount of money by the alleged cargo company could have been investigated and handled professionally by the police. But the officers were carried away by greed and therefore acted criminally and unprofessionally. The affected officers will be prosecuted upon conclusion of due legal and administrative procedures. We urge the public and the media to refrain from spreading this false narrative aimed at tainting the reputation of the Inspector General of Police.
BKO, how did we get here? Police officers stealing that kind of amount, unlawful arrest? How did we get here?
Yeah, I think the question should have been, why is this so correct? Because we got here a long time ago. So there is no point asking me how did we get. We got here a long time ago. There are many people wearing that police uniform who are worse than armed robbers.
Worse?
Yes. We've seen policemen who turn their guns against innocent people, kill them, and relieve them of their money. You murder people and steal their money. We've seen policemen who did that. It happened in Kogi State. People who went to buy cattle. They killed them and then set them ablaze.
I think I heard of that. Story.
They stole their money. Unfortunately for them, one of the guys successfully escaped into the bush. It was Justice Umaru Eri, the first Chief Judge of Kogi State, who eventually sentenced them to death. Policemen turning their guns on people, killing those people and stealing their money. This is not the first time that policemen will even accompany armed robbers to robbery scenes.
Lots of stories.
So there are so many stories. We will go back to the Anene case. We had a policeman, Iyamu, yeah, who was working with those armed robbers, was an effective member of that gang and providing them with weapons and all that, you know. And when they tied him to the stakes, he took, as they were leading him to the stakes, he scooped a piece of sand and said, "Head, before you hit me, I hit you." So he poured sand into his own mouth and gobbled away. I said, look at this one. You know? So the good thing about the army, the police that I say all the time, is that they are eager to make examples of the black legs within their fold. Within their ranks, they don't want to see bad people. They make examples of them. How many of the professional unions in Nigeria are doing that? We have irresponsible journalists who extort money and blackmail people. How often do we see examples made of such journalists? We see lawyers. Some lawyers are barefaced criminals. We see them, the kind of unethical practices that they are known for. How often do we see the umbrella bodies
of lawyers
make examples of such people, disgrace them?
Even journalists.
How often do we even derobe judges? So these things happen. But the police must give them kudos at every point. Once they get the report, they make. So you see, money can easily ruin you.
Exactly.
How do you attempt to steal that much money? You thought with that, you become rich. No, now their careers have been destroyed. And one of them is even a police lawyer. This is a gargantuan disgrace, honestly.
Okay, now looking at this, is in your opinion, do you think the police is doing enough to to take away all these bad legs in the ranks?
Yeah, I think presently the police force under the IGP, Betokun, they are doing very well now in making sure that they get rid of the bad legs, the bad ones in the police, and making sure they sanitize the police force. But I can tell you that they have to do more.
They have to do more.
They really have to do more, because if you read every day, if they take samples of those that they've caught, and if they do more research, look more inward, they will find out that there are still more worse ones.
So where should it start from? Is it from the recruitment process, background checks, integrity checks on the kind of persons they get that they employ into the force?
I think I agree that they should do more in recruitment, background check and all that. Yes. I was traveling one time, and there's some set of police people stopped us on the road, and I was trying to talk to them that I'm a journalist and all that they should please just look into this document and give us a fair hearing and let us go. And he was asking for my ID card, and I gave him the ID card. He couldn't even read the ID card. He couldn't. A police officer on the road cannot
read.
Yes, he was looking at it. And he asked me for the other thing in my hand, and I told him I won't want to mention it. And he was just calling it badly. So how do you expect that kind of a police officer to attend to your case brilliantly?
And he has a weapon. He has a rifle.
Baton, rifle, this one that they used to shoot tear gas and all that. Yes. They have it on their hands. And so if you provoke them at the slightest provocation, they do you what you might not even return home. We've had cases of where people are shot because of 20 naira, because of 50 naira, because of 100 naira. And it's not as if it doesn't still persist. So it's sad. How could you, on a legal duty, go to arrest someone and even still take more than half of the money that the person was going with? And when we went through the case and all that, we now found out that they even called the owner of the money when the owner of the money identified himself. And they said, okay, this is the amount we recovered, yes, which is less than half of the money that was supposed to be there. Yes. And they still wanted to take more. They wanted to take a cut out of the 33-point-something million that they actually said they recovered. Isn't it laughable?
BK, the recruitment process, do you think it should be looked into? Integrity checks, background checks?
You see, this is Nigeria, and the police are products of our country. Until we sanitize our society, all of these paramilitary organizations will reflect who we are. Corruption has literally enveloped our country. So you find people who rig their way into the police because they believe once they get there, they can use that opportunity to steal from people. There are people, Obasanjo said it a long time ago, that the police is full of armed robbers. Because the conduct of some of these guys is worse than that of armed robbers. So I think that we have to look at, we do not do enough background checks on people coming to the army or people coming to the police. And that's why you see bad eggs in the army, you see bad eggs in the police. A soldier murdered a cleric in Yobe State with the intention of stealing his car. That's somebody who gave him a ride.
Yes. Yes.
You know, so these bad eggs are everywhere. They reflect our society. But it is wrong to assume that, oh, everyone is bad in our country.
Sure.
In that same police, there are people who never take a bribe.
Yes.
And you cannot offer them women. They are contented with their own wives. You can't offer them women. So what are you going to leverage on to corrupt them? In that same police, there was a policeman in Kano who was offered dollars, a lot of money in dollars, and he refused to accept it.
Do you think
he arrested those people? No. No, it's not a matter. You can pay somebody all the money in the world and he will still steal.
And he will still mess up.
Kleptomania, what is it about?
Exactly.
It's pure madness. And there are people who come from rich background who will still walk into a department store and shoplift. So it has nothing to do with pay people good wages if they are originally bad. The pig will bath, clean up the pig. It will still go into the mud and be rolling in the mud.
Yeah.
So even if you pay hefty salary to some policemen, it still won't stop them. Okay, so we are talking about people stealing government. Naturally, they have everything, but they are never contented. They want to steal and steal and steal. Okay. So this is the thing. I don't think, yes, let's do our best to improve the welfare.
Exactly.
But it still doesn't mean that those who are minded to steal or minded to be corrupt will not be corrupt.
All right, then let's move straight to our next conversation. Money makes life easier, but it is more frustrating when you have it but can't access it. The issue of inadequate cash at banks has become worrisome for Nigerians. As such, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has issued a directive to all banks to provide cash to customers and warned of potential sanctions for non-compliance. The directive specifically requires banks to dispense cash to customers both over the counter and through automated teller machines, ATMs, ensure efficient currency circulation and comply with strict oversight measures. Now, BKO, I think we talked about this, was it yesterday or 2 days ago, talking about this matter. But now that the CBN is coming out, do you think the CBN is showing enough sincerity and capacity in tackling this scarcity of cash in ATMs and commercial banks?
Well, we want to see this directive implemented.
Okay.
Because talk is cheap.
Sure.
If you issue directive and you don't follow it up with effective monitoring, you don't follow it up with implementation the right way, these banks will not stop. And we know what corruption is doing to our country. Some of the people should actually bring unethical bankers to book. They are hand in gloves with them, so they are not prepared to do anything about such bankers. The CBN has a monitoring team that regulates the activities of banks, but this is probably the weakest unit within the CBN, because some of what we see, poor service delivery on the part of banks, the obsession of banks to steal from Nigerians in different guises without anyone doing his best to help helpless Nigerians will show to you that the CBN is not doing enough. We are happy to read that, oh, at least steps have been taken. But how about punishing banks that set out deliberately to make life difficult for Nigerians because they want to make money? Banks that cannot provide effective service delivery, they also need to be punished. Just the same way that we expect that airlines that will not honor their own side of the bargain and ensure that passengers are airlifted at the time on their tickets, these have to be punished as well. That's why you have regulators. Well, if the regulators are not doing enough, then these people will continue to take the ordinary Nigerian for granted. I think that it is embarrassing to walk into a bank, go to their ATM gallery, and to not be able to take 1 naira. It happened to me last week. I couldn't take 1 naira. And I didn't want to queue in the banking hall. The whole idea of having the ATM galleries is to reduce the number of people in the banking hall, decongest the banking hall, make it easy for people to be able to take money from the ATMs rather than across the counter. But if you fail to put money, what is going on that you a bank, a major branch, you can't even use the ATM? There's not a naira note inside the ATM. Something is wrong.
But I spoke with someone who is a banker who said that the banks are not even getting enough deposits like they used to have. Hence the reason for this. Should they also be blamed if they are not getting deposit like they used to have?
It is, well, I know that this point of sale business has come with its own problems.
Exactly.
Filling stations, when they sell fuel, they are taking the money to POS near
Operators,
them.
Not to
those guys, yes. So we are selling our currency. In another way, we are selling our currency. The money that you cannot, because the limitations that they placed on withdrawal, people have found a way around it by going straight to POS. If I go into a bank now, they may tell me that, look, you can't cash more than 20,000. At the ATM points, I will not be able to cash more than 20,000, for example. But I can go to a POS operator and get 50,000. So it means for some people who in the past would take the proceeds from selling fuel to the bank, they now go straight to POS operators and do a deal. And those ones will take the cash and give them some money in return.
Yes.
You, that you need cash desperately, you go to the ATM guys, the POS guys, you withdraw some money and they put a premium on top. So it is not free. So
transactional.
Yes. So we are now trading in our currency. You want 50,000, okay. For this 50,000, it is 5,000. I'll charge you 5,000. People are prepared to pay because the banks are not readily making money available. It is shameful to not find money
Indeed.
in the ATMs. But we find the same money in the hands of POS operators. Something is wrong with us, and I expect the CBN to clamp down on these unethical practices.
Stiffer penalties. Should the CBN be bringing stiffer penalties on the banks and also those who hoard cash? We can't take that away.
Yes, I think we should try that. Let's just give it a try. And, you know, it's not only about giving stiffer penalties, it's about ensuring that it works.
Okay.
You can penalize, you can read out all the penalties in the whole world, and you won't even hold one person. There won't be one person, you won't catch one person. But let's see, the CBN has brought out this now. Let's see how it's going to be followed up. We're moving closer to the Christmas period now. People are not getting cash. You go into the bank, you can't even withdraw 5,000 naira on the counter. You go to some ATM, you go to some banks, some deposit money banks,
yes,
and you see them having as much as 15 ATM machines in their gallery, and you go around, and you won't read. Some would even debit you. You will hear it. It will be reading full. You will be joyful that something is coming out.
But nothing will come out.
Nothing will come out. And you will get an alert for what you didn't receive. Sometimes it takes you, it's a rigor for you to make them reverse it if it doesn't come in under 24 hours and all that. But you get to the POS man, it tells you this is there's cash crunch, but he will charge you more. Instead of the 100 naira per 5,000, he just tells you, your guy is 300 naira. You don't have an option. You need the cash because you can't find POS everywhere you go to make payment. And so you do it. Sometimes you even collect bad notes from them. You take it back to the bank, and the bank won't collect it. I know like 2-3 banks that you take some, they will screen your cash before, and you will get it outside, but you can't take it back to the bank. So the CBN now, in their wisdom, has read out email addresses and numbers per state for the different CBN offices in the states that you can report, you can send SMSs, you can make calls, you can send emails. Let's see how it works. If it works well, we give them kudos. Okay. But we will return back here to tell them if it's not working.
If it's not working.
Yeah.
We need to go on this quick break, and when we return, the conversation continues. Don't go anywhere. Still Journalist Hangout.
Hi, this is Dr. Abiola Salami, the world-class performance strategist, inviting all business leaders and career professionals to start 2025 on the right foot with forward-thinking strategies and powerful connections at the New Year Kickoff Summit 2025. Visit www.kickoffsummit.com to register. Until I see you there, keep rocking your world like a champion.
Quality, wires and cables, come and come back, light up your life. Come and want to light up your house, come and want to give you better. Come and next to ordinary wire. Come and cables be baba, come and wires be baba. Come and quality, come and durable, come and capable, yo. Come and cables be baba, come and wires be baba. Come and quality, come and durable, come and capable, yo. Everybody, come and see. Come and wires, wonder things. Brother, sister, uncle, auntie, go get your own. Come and wires, come and cables, come and quality, come and durable, come and capable. Come and wires, come and cables, come and quality, come and durable, come and capable. Come and cables,
Coleman Wires and Cable. Great quality. Now with the new look.
All right, if you just joined us, it's still Journalist Hangout. We still have Babajide Kaladio Titojo and Babajide Obafemi. We move to our next conversation. One of the beauty of democracy is respect for public opinion by political leaders. Following raging debates over the tax reform bills, President Bola Tinubu has directed the Ministry of Justice to work closely with the National Assembly to address the concerns raised by Nigerians regarding the proposed legislation. Also, the Senate leadership has directed its Committee on Finance to suspend further action on the bills pending the outcome of a high-level meeting with the Attorney General of the Federation, AGF. The Deputy Senate President, Barau Jibrin, who made the announcement during plenary, disclosed that a special committee has been constituted to address contentious issues in the bill, with the meeting scheduled for Thursday, the 5th of December. The Senate also announced plans to convene a special meeting at the National Assembly to be chaired by the Senate Minority Leader to address all areas of disagreement in the bills. Now, let me start with you, Babajide. The President now said that let's pend it. Do you think is the right move in this regard to calm nerves, to look at some touchy areas?
Yeah, I do agree with Mr. President. And it shows the fact that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has listening ears. Okay. He listens to the people. Despite the fact that he's not in Nigeria at the moment, it means he's really abreast of matters happening in his own country. Yes. It's not just moving around the world and all that. Yeah, there are gray areas, there are contentious issues about this tax reform bills, but I think in the entirety, I don't think it should be thrown away. Sure. I think we should just look at the naughty areas, just readjust and re-amend. And I think one of the very naughty gray areas is the VAT thing. But I think holistically we should really look deep into it and touch some few areas, probably call for public hearing as we are hearing, and let people submit
their concerns.
Their concerns about the bill, and let's see. Actually, it's not as if we can factor in all concerns.
Okay.
Yeah, because what you think is good for you might not be good for me. But we should, in honesty, we should be ready to accept the reform and adjust. Okay. You understand? And I think, in all honesty, if the bill is passed, because I was still going through it as we were coming into the studio and all that, this will engender true and good federalism in the nation.
Talking about federalism, BKO, yesterday we talked about, Senator Ndoma talked about the timing. Now, some said that this bill will actually affect fiscal federalism and also weaken the states' financial independence. Do you agree with them? These are some of the concerns.
No, the concern that many of the ethnic champions have is that, this what looks like an attempt to use derivation formula to distribute VAT revenue. That is the concern. But my own worry is why anybody will now turn that to a north-south thing. I think it makes absolutely no sense because if you are saying we've had that, this is an attempt to make Lagos extremely rich, much more richer than other states. Lagos is a state in the southwest. If the revenue formula that it was alleged they are trying to use,
the derivation model,
will impoverish some states and make Lagos extremely richer than other states, is Ekiti not going to be affected?
Oh, sure.
What affects Zamfara that will not affect Ekiti? Ekiti is one of the poorest states in our country.
Yeah.
Even in terms of the distributable revenue from the center, it's one of the states that receives the least. So, is Ekiti not going to be affected? Is Osun not going to be affected? Some have said, this thing will only favor Rivers and Lagos. If it is used, of course, some states will be affected.
Yes.
But my own attitude is don't ethnicize it. Don't make it look like it is only the states of the north that this thing that will suffer, or that is targeted. That now some of the people who have read the thing, especially from northern Nigeria, we're seeing them now coming out. More and more people from northern Nigeria coming out to say, no, this bill has a lot more than you are talking about, and this bill is not designed to make the north poorer. So I think it makes sense for our people to stop this idea of ethnicizing anything. People will fight for the rights of their states. It's within their rights to defend the rights of their states. Yes, any good governor, any good leader should be able to, but it's not everything that you should ethnicize.
Okay.
That's it.
All right, we have Wale from Lagos. Wale, it's so good to have you join us.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, Wednesday.
All right, let's talk. Go ahead, let's talk.
Okay, the feedback. Okay, yeah. Good afternoon. My name is Wale from Lagos. I won't really want to say much about the tax reform bill because I understand a little bit, but please allow me to go back to the POS, central bank, and bank issues because somehow this affects me directly because I'm a POS operator, and it was surprising when they are saying that POS operator and all of it getting cash and all of it. When we also go to the bank, we don't get cash. They will tell us that this is what we can do, and how we get our cash is that we source for people that sell overseas market, and even sometimes these guys consider they consider us and tell us to pay in advance so that we will get the cash. So that is why I think the bank are not getting money because all these big sellers and all of it, they are no more taking their money to bank.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Wale. Appreciate you. Okay, well, look at it.
It made the point clear that this is what is happening. He was talking about some big listen, but of course we didn't allow him to finish what he was saying. He was said to talk about some sources of cash for POS.
POS, yeah.
I think we made the point earlier that more and more people are taking their money to POS operators rather than go to the banks. When you go to the bank, they are not likely to pay you for coming, for depositing money.
Exactly.
Yes, interest will come, but it's
very
negligible. But the POS operator knows that he will make money by selling the cash that you have given him. Because it's selling of cash in the real sense, they would rather take money from those fuel attendants and all.
Okay, because still talking about this tax reform bill, what can be done for it to have this widespread acceptability?
No, we are on course to doing that. And if you read what the governor of Nasarawa State said, I think even the governors are beginning to
buy into
because they had stiffened their position in the past, but they are beginning to ease up in terms of the way they are looking at the bill. They even wanted it
slow down.
So, but now there are some explanations that have been made to them that have convinced them that proceeds from VAT will be distributed more equitably. That is what we want to see.
Yeah.
Let it be distributed more equitably. There has to be a distribution formula that is equitable, that makes everyone happy. If you distribute it using some formula that appears to favor some states
and the other,
and does not favor others, especially those from where you get a lot of the funds, then people will complain. So I expect the National Assembly as our representatives, since this thing is still in the works, I expect them to look at what can be done. And the directive of Mr. President is a good one, that the Ministry of Justice should sit with the lawmakers and see how they can make this acceptable to the generality of our people. I know that it is not a big deal. The contentious areas are probably one or two. I'm telling you, in a bill that took them 18 months to put together. You know? So it's not going to, all it takes is just tweak some of those
gray areas.
Yes, those the portions of the bill that are contentious. Just tweak them and let's have peace. Because everything, ethnicity, will bring ethnicity into, we can't continue like this as a nation.
True.
You know, and some of our friends that you would expect that, when this sort of thing comes, they will stay in the middle and refuse to retreat into their ethnic cocoons. We are now seeing them playing the role of ethnic champions. They should really be ashamed of themselves. Because I remember when the matter of Ruga and others came.
Yes.
Some of us, I even did documentary on it. You know? Now we have a government that has said, okay, we are creating a livestock ministry. And we know that the livestock that we consume in our country is in the north.
Exactly.
To suddenly label that government as anti-north.
That's.
I mean, there's no reason for that. And then the constant reference to, we put him in power and all that. Even if they not put someone in power by way of the majority of the votes coming from there, he has become a president for everyone. And in his actions, we expect that it will be fair to everybody.
Nationalistic.
Yes. It's not, there's no Nigerian president that can win an election based on the votes from his own zone alone.
True.
If that was possible, Buhari would have been president on all of those 4 occasions that he contested. But the Constitution so designed it that you must have that spread. If you do not have that spread across the length and breadth of our country, you are not electable. So let us focus less on those things that divide us as a people. Because we can't continue like this. And the older people who are fanning the embers of discord, they are infecting younger people with all of these stories. Thank God for people like Shehu Sani who have come out to say, no, it is not true that this thing will impoverish the North. People like Dogara, who so eminently spoke on this matter. Some, and even Sheikh Gumi, who has said, no, I support this bill. The Sultan, I support this bill. This is because it's not just about an item. Exactly. It can't be just about an item. So if it's one item, that is equitable distribution of VAT. If it is that issue that we need to address, okay, let them arrest Senator Barrow and the rest of them. Let them sit down and address that. See how they can, tweak that portion. Because when the executive comes up with a bill, nothing says the bill must be passed.
Exactly.
The job of the National Assembly is to, if the executive can even do a budget and say this is how much I need, and the National Assembly has the power, the House of Reps has the power to say no, we will give you more money. What you have asked for is not enough.
To add to it.
So nothing says that we will never have a National Assembly by God's grace that simply everything that the president takes to them, they will just sheepishly pass it. No. They have the power to look at it, tweak some of those things and say, no, we won't pass this until we've done this, until we've done this. That is their role as our representatives. And when they do that again and again, they are helping to cement the unity of our country. One good thing is that this government listens. You may hate this government as much as you like, but from time to time you see that when there is an uproar, when there is complaint, the government steps in, the president steps in and says, oh, let's do it this way. Did it not happen with the cyber security?
Yeah, cyber security.
Thing?
Even the student loan.
They dropped it. They dropped it.
Exactly.
So that's what we want to see. I'm sure that at the end of the day, when this bill is passed, because this bill will be passed, when this bill is passed, a lot of us will be happier because the areas bordering us, and Tami said it's bordered by some sections of the bill. The areas bordering us will have been addressed.
Exactly.
I would really want to see a town hall And it's going on now. Some of those
Kogi
State organized a town hall on tax administration. I would really want to see Nigerians make their contributions.
Exactly.
You know, so that at the end of the day, we have a wholesome bill that ensures that people are taxed fairly. You know why I talked about fairly? The poor people pay a lot more tax than they should actually be paying, while a lot of the rich people don't pay enough. When they even get the opportunity, they bribe tax officers. They don't pay enough. A lot of the big people, billionaires in our country, they become rich from stealing from our country.
I agree with you. You want to add to it?
Yeah,
because I wanted to ask you, what are the implications of this, tax bill when it comes to investment, foreign direct investment? Do you think it will improve it?
I think it will improve it. I think in all, like BKO has rightly said, it will be a win-win situation.
Okay.
For all of us, and especially the low-income earners and all that, who actually are the ones that pay more of the tax. And sometimes they deduct directly from their wages and all that. So I think when they sit down, our representatives and the Ministry of Justice and look at the naughty areas, I think we all will be winners for it.
All right, we need to go on a quick break. When we return, the conversation continues. Don't go anywhere. It's still journalist.
So, there is a small problem. Despite all the entertaining ads we've created for you, some of you still haven't tried our services. Come on. First of all, we are a licensed microfinance bank. Sorry about that. For instance, you can open a business account with us and get our POS with it. It's good for your business.
99.99% reliable.
I love it. Our card, it dey work.
My money no dey hang.
You can open a business or personal account with us in minutes. Our customer care is available. Abby? So, when it comes to reliability, security, convenience, and speed, you only need one bank.
Join millions of happy customers. Download the MoneyPoint app or find an agent near you to get started.
This ad is a MoneyPoint ad. Don't forget that.
All right, we're back. It's still journalist Hangout. BK is still right here. Babajide Obafemi is still here. I asked a question earlier. Implication of this bill when it comes to investment, foreign direct investment.
I have not seen anything that suggests that this bill will diminish our capacity to attract foreign direct investment. We just need to improve the operating environment, improve security, and reduce the fiscal barriers to investment in our country. Once we are able to do that, more and more investors feel free to come into our country. We need foreign direct investment. Where would we be, for example, if we didn't have an MTN?
Exactly.
MTN has become a big corporation in our country. Now those telcos,
yes,
they are bigger than more than 10 Nigerian banks put together.
Okay, BK, just hold that thought. We have Ayo calling from London. Ayo, so good to have you join us.
Yeah. Good evening. Thank you very much.
Yeah, good evening. Let's talk.
Good evening. BKO, good evening.
Good evening, Ayo.
I met you in London and good evening, sir. I met you in London and I had pounded yam with you. Pounded yam founder. God for Mr. Obafemi.
Oh. I really enjoyed that pounded yam. Mrs. Obafemi is a fantastic cook.
Yeah. So regarding the tax bill, I actually think it's a wonderful thing, and we need to commend the government about it. It's just the usual thing. If
you pay more, if you earn more, you need to pay more.
Okay.
My only problem about it is that if we have an environment where we've not been paid tax before, the fear is that when those big companies start to pay tax, there might be an increase in the number of money that the final consumers will be paying.
Yes.
So if the government can find a way to regulate the price, I am 100% in support of it. And I think everywhere we people in Nigeria to support it. Thank you. We look forward to seeing you in summer.
Thank you. You will see me by God's grace.
So looking at what
true.
he has said, when you earn more, you need to pay more.
Yes.
Widening the tax.
Yes, that is what I call the fair taxation.
Fair taxation.
It is one of the things that this bill seeks to address. And the matter of unnecessary waivers.
True,
come
you
to an
mentioned
end.
that.
That is one of the provisions that, for example, made Father Kuka happy. You know, Father Kuka too said he likes the
Yes.
So it's one those the fact that look, the recklessness that used to happen will no longer happen. Why should Nigeria be losing money? Because some crooked people in government will grant waivers to their friends, who are in the commanding heights of business and all that. So when people bring products into our country, they need to pay duty.
Exactly.
You now exempt your own friends.
That is not.
That exemptions are not criminal, but it should be with a desire to help stimulate the economy. But if it's simply to help some people and make some people richer, then it's unfair to everyone. Ghana, for example, at a point said, okay, I'm bringing raw material for manufacturing in our country. We will do zero duty. It's a way of inviting people, making it less difficult for manufacturers to access raw material.
Sure.
You know, because if you do that, they'll be able to access more raw materials at a cheaper rate. So, and this bill also creates tax exemptions for some products. So you cannot say, oh, it's completely bad because you saw one item on the bill that you do not like.
All right, BK, just hold that thought. We have Alawan Hassan. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yes,
Thank
let's
you.
talk.
My problem with this is I hope the president is monitoring what is happening on this bill. There are 27 or 28 ministers from the northern Nigeria, from the 19 states of the north, but none of them can come out to defend a policy like this, the president. Everybody has turned his back on the president, including the people he has appointed. Where is the party in all this things? The people that are vocal and critical about this bill are governors of the APC. Where is the party in all this thing? How come the party is not calling people and telling them, see, these things are good? You can't tell me because of one or two things that you think are not okay in the full bills that everything about it is bad. We can't be doing the same thing all the time and expect change. Now, we have more than 500 agencies that collect tax for Nigeria. This government is trying to make one window of collection that is going to be transparent, that we as citizens can go online and see the amount of tax that is being collected by government. Nobody knows, apart from the DPR, everybody collects tax from its own. And let me tell you, the amount of money spent collecting tax, you hear them saying 30%, 40% of the tax is the amount spent in collecting tax over 14 years. Why don't we just sit down? Why don't we remove ethnicity and sentiment and look at it? There is a lot that is good in this bill. In fact, the good about the bill with the little wrongs inside. Can we just sit down, look at these things, and what they I've not heard any one of them opposing this thing with one technical issue trying to kick it out. None of them has anything concrete. In fact, somebody I was speaking to today for yesterday, a lawyer that has 40 years of experience on the bench. is telling me that, okay, it is good, we don't want it, don't give it to us. It is this. It is this. The ministers from North, because it is not that complaining about on this. Why? Because their governors have lied to them. The governors are lying to them. If you tell me you cannot pay salary when this thing is implemented, tell me how much you get when it is implemented. Do you know? Do the governors know? How many of them even call stakeholders when they have to make laws? Yes. They write laws in their groups and take it to the state assembly and do the implementation. They are called stakeholders. So when it comes to the president, that is when everybody will cry out. There is a lot I've read through that bill, and there is a lot that is good in that bill, and that bill must implement it. That's what we have to president that once he sees something good, he will stand on it and give it to the end. We will support you to the end. If there is anything wrong, if there is anything that is to be corrected in that, let them go to public hearing and correct it and let's move on. But a lot of things that are good in that bill, but I will support it.
Thank you, Alwan.
All right. Thank you. Well, that's a beautiful one.
Yeah, fair enough. And to hear that from a Kano man, businessman, is reassuring. We can't all be enveloped by ethnicity.
Exactly.
No. We can't lose our humanism on the altar of ethnicism.
Exactly.
Ethnicity. Not all of us will do that, and I'm happy that some people are refusing to turn this to an ethnic fight, because it makes absolutely no sense. Make your demands known. Hopefully, all of these interests will be addressed at the end of the day, but don't turn it to an ethnic fight.
All right, a fine place for us to leave. Babajide Obafemi, appreciate you as always.
Good to be here.
BKO, thank you very much as always. And that's it on Journalist Hangout today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode tonight at 11 and join us on Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. for Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We are on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Benga Oreshegun. Bye for now and God bless Nigeria. One